Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 10 minutes from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 10-minute time check, stations. Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 5 minutes from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 5-minute time check, stations. Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 2 minutes from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 2-minute time check, stations. Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 1 minute from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 1-minute time check, stations.
on the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. This is Hawk Talk, presented by View Rooftop Iowa City. Also brought to you by Bud Light. Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Ford, inviting you to visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. U.S. Bank, helping individuals and businesses work toward their financial goals. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. U.S. Cellular. U.S. Cellular is proud to be the official wireless sponsor of the Iowa Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular, connecting Hawkeye Nation. And by Iowa Secretary of State. Visit voterready.iowa.gov and be a voter. Now, here is your host, the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
My, oh my, good evening, everybody. Welcome into Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz. Today was like going out into the driveway, pick up your morning newspaper, and you have the equivalent of 7 bold print headlines on it. That's how much we've got to talk about tonight on our final regular season call of Hawk Talk with the head coach of the Iowa Hawkeyes, Kirk Ferentz. Gary Barta, Hawkeye Athletic Director, will join us momentarily, and we'll talk about the season and about the college football playoffs, the latest rankings of which Gary chairs the CFP committee. So much to talk about there. We've got the all Big Ten defensive players, the first 3 teams plus the 3 teams plus honorable mention to review tonight. And glory be, Davion Nixon is the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. How exciting is that? We're so thrilled for Davion. He and Chauncey Golston are first-team selections, and there's a boot full of other Hawkeyes from Van Valkenburg to Riley Moss to Kerner to Nick Neiman that will review where they landed on the teams. The offensive unit was announced yesterday. We'll review that as well. Iowa signed a top 25 recruiting class this morning and this afternoon, and that's exciting, including a number of the top players from Iowa high schools. We'll review all their names and numbers over the next 90 minutes. We'll review the Wisconsin game. That seems like ancient history now with everything else going on, but what an impressive win by the Hawks. What an impressive second half where they got things stabilized at the break, up just 6-0, and then pulled away in that second half with Spencer Petras' precision 2 touchdown throws to Amir Smith-Marset. Keith Duncan was rock solid as usual, as he has been his entire career here in an Iowa uniform. So we'll review that, and we'll talk about the cancellation that we all were I don't know that we were stunned by it yesterday, given this crazy COVID year of 2020, but Michigan hadn't played in a couple weeks and sent word out yesterday that with close to 50 players on the sick list due to COVID, one symptom or another, they just decided they could not make the trip to Iowa City, and we certainly understand that. So it's a long laundry list, but one that we feel deserves attention, and certainly we thank View Rooftop for being our presenting sponsor tonight and all season long. View Rooftop presents spectacular views of downtown Iowa City and the surrounding Johnson County countryside. You can experience a high-energy rooftop bar located on the 12th floor of the Hilton Garden Inn, right downtown. Features a distinctly modern escape filled with a unique outdoor design. It's open all day on Hawkeye football game days, and of course the next day will be bowl game day. View Rooftop provides a memorable experience. Great chow, wonderful food, music, icy beverages, hot coffee, and fantastic views of the Iowa City skyline. So here's the phone number to call for reservations this weekend, maybe for the Iowa-Gonzaga basketball game. 319-519-4650. 319-519-4650 to set up your View Rooftop reservation. Let's go to the phones. Gary Barta, just back from another trip to Dallas to chair the College Football Playoff Committee, and they've come up with Alabama, Notre Dame, Clemson, and Ohio State in that order. No change from a week ago. Alabama, Notre Dame, Clemson, Ohio State. We will talk about that in a minute, but Gary, first off, thanks so much for taking 5 minutes to call in and visit with us. Normally, we would have had our last pregame chat this weekend where I would have got to most of this subject matter, but I want to start out with your thoughts, your reflections on this Iowa football season, given the turmoil of no spring practice, a summer void of out-of-season conditioning and drills because the guys are all home. The off-the-field disruption, the cries for social and racial insensitivities, the 0-2 start, and then boom, 6 consecutive wins to get to where we are present day. You have to be just sticking your chest out tonight. You should be anyway.
Yeah, Dolph, you hit on just going back through 2020. I mean, 2020 has been one of those amazing years for all of us across the world, across the country, in Iowa, but all the things that our players and coaches went through. And then an 0-2 start after all of that, and so many teams would have folded up tent and gone home. But just so proud of the way this team, these players stuck in there and won 6 in a row and played 8 weeks in a row. I mean, there aren't many teams in the country that ended up playing that many games in a row. And all that time, COVID testing every day and giving up their social life really since the end of the summer. And then we might as well just kind of remind ourselves we'll be dusting off. It's going to create a little extra work for our cleaning crew because they're going to have to be dusting off 4 trophies, all year long. And I say that and I smile because what a great year, what a great accomplishment. And you mentioned Michigan getting canceled, and that was certainly a shame. But to your point, probably not shocking. And then this weekend, they do get to play one more, and we'll find out on Sunday where we get to go bowling.
Wonderful. And I can remember at least a half a dozen conversations, Gary, as the season was about to get started back in mid to late October, of true Iowa fans wondering if this might be the beginning of the end for Kirk Ferentz because of what had happened this summer with the accusations of social and racial injustice. And my response to that was, look, if you think Kirk Ferentz has an ounce of racism in his body, you're terribly mistaken. But I said, I will tell you this, after 20, 21 years, if anybody in college football has built enough capital to work the program and his way out of this, regardless of what is true and what isn't, it's Kirk Ferentz. I said, and he will get that done. He will accomplish it. And he started out by appointing not one but 2 committees, former players and current players. They've had weekly meetings. And a couple of those people I bumped into after this past weekend, and they said, yeah, you know what, you were right. I said, well, I'm not right very often. But I said, the answer is 6-2. I mean, obviously, these players love their head coach. They love the staff. They love everybody in that Hanson Performance Center. And they took it upon themselves to not only socially hibernate because of the COVID, but to get it done in practice every weekend on the football field. I think that's the most satisfying answer I can give about which direction this program with its head coach is heading.
Well, and the starting point to all of that, Dolph, is before there was a single game played, Kirk had his eyes and ears wide open. We acknowledged, and he acknowledged, that there were mistakes made, there were challenges, but that he would dedicate and work hard. And we're a long way from being done. It's an ongoing process. But I was just it was just so great to watch that team have very difficult conversations and slowly but surely begin to rebuild that trust. And like I said, it's ongoing, but at the same time and that's why when we went 0-2, that's where it could have certainly for so many teams gone south. And just so proud of our players and our coaches and Kirk for keeping that group together. So great accomplishment to come this far. And like I said, they've earned the opportunity to do it one more time.
Yeah, and Kirk will tell you that the work is just beginning in terms of the healing process once this football season is over, whenever that is, here in the next month or so. Well, since you brought up the Bowls, we'll know on Sunday. You want to reveal anything tonight as to what communities the Hawkeyes have in play?
Well, it would make my life a lot simpler if we would just get the invitation, sign the paperwork today. But as you all know, and as our fans all know, It looks like there's a good possibility of three places: Orlando, Tampa, or Nashville. And like we always do, we'll continue to have conversations with them, but we won't know really until Sunday. And part of that is because the Big Ten championship game will be played, and Ohio State and Northwestern will play in that game, and depending on what happens there, the invitations will go out, and then it starts to fill in after that. So Orlando, Tampa, or Nashville look like the three most likely right now.
Three great cities, and of course Tampa, the site of the Outback Bowl. It was 15 years ago. Iowa had that dramatic, football life-altering ending. Drew Tate to Warren Holloway down in Orlando, and of course Nashville is one of the great cities in our country. So we'll look forward to Gary's announcement on that Sunday. I should ask you about the college football playoff rankings. No change from a week ago. Alabama, Notre Dame, Clemson, Ohio State, 1, 2, 3, 4. Iowa State did leapfrog Florida into the 6th position, just behind Texas A&M. A lot of possibilities yet, Gary, especially with Notre Dame playing Clemson. And you know what? Should Florida pull the upset of Bama, who knows?
Well, that's one of the fun things about college football. And so this weekend, the committee comes back together. I got back today, and I'll head back there on early Friday morning and be there through the weekend. And the committee will sit and watch all 10 championship games, 3 on Friday night and then 7 on Saturday. And then Saturday, after the last game, I think the SEC championship is last. It starts at 7 o'clock. When that game is over, that's when we'll begin refocusing and re-ranking the top 25. And I think last year it went deep into the night, and my guess is it will this year again. And from day one, the COVID challenge has created challenges for all of us, but for the committee, you have Ohio State and USC have played 5 games. Alabama and Notre Dame have each played 10 games. And yet you're trying, our job as a committee is to identify the best 4 teams in America. And, there hasn't been much cross-conference play, so you don't have that comparison. You mentioned the Cyclones. They've played 10 games and have two big wins. They do have 2 losses. We spent a lot of time in that Iowa State, Florida, Georgia, Cincinnati, 4 great teams. And just, but when we rank them, the way that we rank them is who this week do we believe are the best teams in that order. And as you mentioned, Iowa State moved up because Florida lost, and then it went Iowa State, Florida, Georgia, and Cincinnati. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting weekend, and those conference championships will be a lot of fun to watch, and then we'll see how things shake out on Sunday. Now,
I know you've mentioned when Iowa's comes up and anywhere in the rankings, you have to recuse yourself, step out of the room. What about when the talk centers on Iowa State? Is Jamie Pollard blowing up your cell phone at that point, or do you step out of the room, or do you get to offer some insight as to what your thoughts are on the Cyclones?
Well, my committee member colleagues have teased me because, as the spokesperson, I only have 1 vote like everybody else. There's 13 people, 13 votes. But I'm tasked with being the spokesperson, and they tease me about how glowing I am when I talk about Iowa State as an Iowa Hawkeye. So, but you know what? I do take off my Iowa Hawkeye hat for that moment, and they have had a terrific season, and so it's not over. They get an opportunity to play Oklahoma on I think it's on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
a fun weekend of football yet.
Indeed. We got to have you run for the Senate some year. You are such a good politician, Gary Barta. But I hope you get a chance to take a peek at a basketball game that's coming up on Saturday morning. I know you got a lot of football you got to watch, but don't forget about number 1 versus number 3 now.
Well, there are going to be about 10 televisions in this. We'll be in a big room where we'll be socially distanced. We'll have masks on. And I've already made it clear that at 11 a.m. Down in Dallas, one of those televisions at least, as long as the one that's in front of me is going to be on CBS. So I will be tuned in to watch the Hawks. I'll be watching Iowa-Gonzaga basketball the same time I watch Ohio State Northwestern play for the Big Ten championship.
You're a multitasker. I understand that. Gary, thanks for your time. Safe travels. We'll see you when you get back this weekend.
I appreciate it. And before I log off, one of the things I'll see Kirk tomorrow, but congratulations to all of our coaches. The average person just not thinking about or not realizing or not knowing how hard our coaches work to recruit. I think they know it in general, but then they've been talking to these guys now for at least a year and a half, 2 years, or maybe longer sometimes. And so whenever they finish signing, I always am so congratulatory to the coaches and to the 17 guys that are coming. It's a big process. It's a difficult process, but an exciting one. So it's great to bring in the next class of Iowa Hawkeyes.
It sure is. The next generation. Appreciate that, Gary Barta. Thanks so much for dialing in tonight. I know you got a full workload on your schedule. Appreciate it, Gary.
All right, Dolph. Thanks a lot.
There he goes, Gary Barta, back and forth out of the Eastern Iowa Airport. I think American has a number of straight flights to and from Dallas each day, thankfully, and he'll head back down where they'll watch 10 championship games this weekend. But I know he'll be tuned in, maybe the earbuds to Iowa Gonzaga, to our broadcast, which, by the way, is an 11 o'clock tip on Saturday morning. Same time Ohio State and Northwestern kickoff in Indianapolis. Our pregame coverage with Bobby and yours truly, Bobby Hansen, and yours truly will start at 10 o'clock right here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Okay, good stuff from Gary Barta, and we will know on Sunday where the Hawkeyes are bowling. And it sounds like it will be either Orlando, Tampa, or Nashville, because the way the Hawks have played and now finished the regular season, who wouldn't want the Iowa football team in their bowl? Enjoy peace of mind in these changing times with the Medicare Supplement Plan. 9 out of 10 stay with year after year. Wellmark, Blue Cross, and Blue Shield. Visit wellmark.com/benefit of blue. We better take our first break. We're behind already on hearing from our wonderful sponsors. When we come back, we'll talk about the Big Ten Defensive Awards announced today, and you're going to love what they bestowed upon Davion Nixon and several other Hawkeyes. Back on Hawk Talk, Kirk will be joining us, by the way, Kirk Ferentz, shortly after 7 o'clock, and then we'll get into the recruiting class. 17 recruits, top 25. I've seen them ranked as high as 22nd and as high as 6th in the Big Ten, which is a real nice mark, a high water mark, the highest water mark in several years for Iowa football recruiting classes. They've typically been between 25 and 40, and to be in the top 25, that's impressive. But these guys have worked hard on the recruiting trail. And Kirk will join us to talk about all those recruits starting at 7 o'clock. We've got video, we've got numbers, and therefore we thank KCRG 9.2 for televising our programs each and every week. We thank YouTube for providing us a slot on the Hawkeye Radio Network. You can go to youtube.com/Hawkeye Radio Network and watch our live stream. If you have a question or a comment for Kirk about the season, about the recruiting, about the Big Ten football awards, the national awards that are still to come with a number of Hawks as finalists, or you can reach us on Twitter at Gary Dolphin or Facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. And we're back on Hawk Talk in just a minute from Kinnick Stadium.
The wait for the holidays is over, America. It's time to make some joy. And we're here to help with the Ford Built for the Holidays sales event. We're offering the best deals of the season across the Ford lineup, so you can road trip with the whole family comfortably in a Ford Expedition. Bring home a tree that's bigger than you ever have with a built Ford Tough F-150. And find new ways to make the holidays bright this year when you visit your local Ford dealer. The joy is up to you, America, so let's get to it. Ford, Built for the Holidays.
University of Iowa Healthcare urges you to follow the 3 W's to stop the spread of COVID-19. Wear a mask, watch your distance, and wash your hands often. More tips at uihc.org. University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you. For flu-like symptoms, call our 24-hour COVID-19 hotline at 319-384-9010 before seeing a provider.
When you fire up a John Deere 1 Series tractor, you can tackle the job without wrestling the attachments. Hook up everything from a front loader to a drive-over mower deck to a backhoe without wasting any time at all. So you can haul gravel, till soil, cut grass, or do any job in between. Because when things just click, work just gets done. Nothing runs like a Deere. Run with us. Stop by your local John Deere dealer for a test drive today or learn more at Deere.com. Your Iowa John Deere dealers, proud sponsors of Iowa football.
What does Julie, who runs a thriving local business, have in common with the starting quarterback? They both know how to hustle. As a small business owner, you rise before the sun and push till well after it sets. Outpace and defy expectations. Every quarterback needs a great team. UPS is here to support the hustle with tools and expert advice to help you be unstoppable. Visit ups.com/pivot for details. UPS, the official logistics partner of the Hawkeyes. Hi, I'm Gary Dolphin, and if you want your home to be exceptionally comfortable during these cold Iowa winters and hot, humid summers, you need to turn to Dave Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Lennox has been serving Iowa consumers since 1895, when Dave Lennox built his first furnace in Marshalltown, and Lennox is still building its high-efficiency furnaces and air conditioners there today. For the best home comfort system you can buy, it's Lennox and your local Lennox dealer. Lennox and the Hawkeyes. Now there's a winning combination.
Tomorrow. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, as we have for over 100 years. So you can look forward to it too. Through growth and innovation, we are planning ahead, so you can enjoy life without looking back. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Auto, home, farm, and business insurance. Talk to an agent today or visit GrinnellMutual.com. Trust in Tomorrow is a registered trademark of Grinnell Mutual Reinsurance Company.
Hawk Talk with Iowa football coach Kirk Ferentz tonight from Kinnick Stadium. I'm Gary Dolphin, the Hawkeye Radio Network. We're coming to you live from our broadcast location, our normal Saturday broadcast spot here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. We were so hoping for Iowa, Michigan, Saturday night at 6 o'clock. That won't happen, but we'll certainly have much to talk about on Saturday with Iowa Gonzaga basketball. And, of course, we've got tons of material tonight to get to, the latest being, other than the recruiting class, the Big Ten individual award winners defensively were announced today. And so pleased and proud to tell you that Davion Nixon, the Hawkeye defensive tackle, not only was named the defensive lineman of the year, but he was the defensive player of the year in the Big Ten. This is named, of course, for Minnesota's Bronco Nagurski and Michigan's Charles Woodson, two of the great defensive players in the history of the league. Davion Nixon, your Iowa Hawkeye, is the defensive player of the year as well as the lineman of the year, named for Bubba Smith and Penn State's Courtney Brown. Brandon Joseph of Northwestern is the defensive back, the freshman of the year in the conference. The linebacker, the Butkus Fitzgerald linebacker of the year, is Patty Fisher of Northwestern, named in part after his head coach, Pat Fitzgerald. The defensive back of the year is Sean Wade of Ohio State, named after Jack Tatum and Purdue's Rod Woodson. Talk about two headhunters there, two guys that hit as hard as anybody. So congratulations to Davion Nixon. There were many other Iowa Hawkeyes named to the All Big Ten teams. So let's run down those. Nixon, first team lineman at tackle. Chauncey Golston, first team defensive end. He and Davion led the league with 5.5 sacks each. Nixon led the conference in tackles for loss. Second team selection, Zach Van Valkenburg, the Division II transfer from Hillsdale College in Michigan. Zach had a terrific year, had 4 fumble recoveries. Nick Neiman on the third team, number 2 in the conference in tackles. A linebacker, I thought he should have been higher than that, but there's some great linebackers this year throughout the league, most notably Patty Fisher of Northwestern, Pete Werner from Ohio State, and Micah McFadden of Indiana, all first team. Blake Gallagher, who had a great game against the Hawkeyes here from Northwestern, made second team. Jack Kerner, a third-team defensive back. Congratulations to Jack. And then Dane Belton and Riley Moss received honorable mention. So congratulations to all of our Hawkeyes on the All-Big Ten defensive unit announced today. If you missed it, yesterday, Tyler Goodson, first-team running back, Alaric Jackson, he and Tyler, unanimous picks for the first team. Of course, A.J. at that left tackle position. Second team, head scratcher, but Tyler Lindebaum was second team center. Josh Myers, who is a great one, was the number one ball snapper from Ohio State. Tyler finished second. This is on the coaches unit. Tyler was first team as judged by the media. Cole Banwert was a second team offensive line pick. By the way, the Hawkeye offensive line is now a semifinalist for the Joe Moore O-Line of the Year award. So congratulations to Kirk and Tim Polasic, the offensive line coach, and, of course, those hard-working linemen, several of which landed honorable mention. Kyler Schott, Cody Ince, both. Sam Laporta, tight end. You could almost call him an offensive lineman because tight ends have to block like O-linemen in the Iowa schemes. And Amir Smith-Marset and Mekhi Sargent from the skill positions landed honorable mention from the Big Ten. So there you have the all Big Ten selections for the Iowa Hawkeyes. When we come back, we're going to at least run down, give you my thoughts on the recruiting class just signed. Send in your questions for Coach Ferentz tonight using hashtag HawkTalk or by checking in on Twitter at Gary Dolphin or Facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. We got one early from Eric. Eric has a question. If you could mention what the Hawk Talk schedule is for the rest of the season, assuming this is the last until the bowl game, or will there be any more? The answer to that is, Eric, we don't know yet. Eric reached out on Twitter tonight. We've had some conversations about a bowl Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz. Hopefully we can put that together. But with the COVID, with the shorter prep for a bowl, with this crazy year that we're almost at the end of, we don't know that we'll have a Hawk Talk Bowl scheduled. Certainly, if we do, it would be under this format. It would not be live at any. It'd be live, but certainly not at any restaurant. We look forward to going back to View Rooftop in the Hilton Garden Inn next year. But stay tuned to your local Hawkeye Radio Network station or affiliate, and we should have a decision on that after we visit with sponsors and our friends at Learfield coming up here in the next few days. Once we find out where the bowl is, certainly we'll have some type of a bowl show on site, and hopefully Coach or some players can join us at that time, whether live or on tape. Okay? We'll be back with more Hawk Talk. We'll get to the recruiting class when we return to Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz.
American Equity salutes today's hero of the game and is a proud sponsor of the ongoing recognition of our military at Hawkeye Games this season. Thank you to all the men and women, past and present, who have served our country and allow all of us to enjoy the freedom and liberty we enjoy today. American Equity's vision is to become the premier insurance company specializing in retirement savings and income products. To learn more about our company, please visit our website at american-equity.com.
Farm Credit Services of America isn't just a lender that knows agriculture. We're a lender that serves agriculture. It's everything we do. So along with attractive rates, you'll find ag-friendly terms, services, and financial tools made just for you. You can also get the power of ownership, a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and a share of our net return. Call us. We're Farm Credit Services of America. Agriculture works here.
Like any winning team, it takes every part of EMC Insurance Companies working together to successfully ensure that our agents, policyholders, and employees can count on EMC. And they do. They count on our broad range of insurance products and services. They count on our superior level of personalized service, and they trust that we will continue to be a financially stable partner, just like we have been for more than 100 years. All of this makes EMC one of the nation's premier insurance companies, and that's something you can always count on.
Small businesses across Iowa are continuing to show up for you. They're adapting, they're donating, they're keeping their doors and their hearts open to assist their employees and serve their customers, just like they always have. Small businesses are the backbone of Iowa's communities, and they're backed by Iowa banks. With helpful advice, affordable loans, and essential financial services, banks across Iowa are showing small businesses the way to a stronger tomorrow. Learn more at iowabankers.com.
Great job, everyone. Printers, great coverage. Phones, quick pickups. Firewall, tough defense. And network, way to carry the whole team. Ever since Marco started calling our technology plays, we work smarter and our whole game is more streamlined. Marco's all-star services and support give us the winning edge. Find out what your technology could be saying at marconet.com.
Imagine a virtual club that's free to join, where the fun never stops and where there's always something new and exciting happening. It's the Prize Zone, a special part of the Iowa Lottery VIP Club that'll make your VIP experience even VIP-ier. Members can enter Prize Zone drawings for cash, technology, lottery tickets, concert tickets, and sports ticket prizes all day, every day, all year long. Get rules and complete details at ialottery.com. Join today and see what's waiting for you in the VIP Club Prize Zone.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk with Iowa football coach Kirk Ferentz. Kirk will be joining us here momentarily. I wanted to mention, we just talked about Iowa's all Big Ten selections defensively announced today. Davion Nixon is also a semifinalist for the Outland Trophy, which goes to the best lineman in America, and he is the only defensive lineman listed. Typically, that is gobbled up by an offensive lineman, but Davion Nixon, maybe a little Alex Karras job here. Alex was an outstanding player at Iowa back in the 50s, All-American Outland Trophy recipient, and the best of luck, Davion. We should know that here in the next week or so. Torrey Taylor is a finalist for the Ray Guy Punting Award, and Chauncey Golston, back to that defensive line, is one of the finalists for the Ronnie Lott Impact Trophy. So happy to read those names off and wish those guys the best of luck. Before we are joined by Coach Ferentz, let's pause 10 seconds here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. 10-second ID. We're at the top of the hour. We want to allow our stations to identify themselves. You're listening to Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz. Yeah, let's welcome in strong candidate for Coach of the Year, Kirk Ferentz. Good evening, Kirk. It's been a long day for you, but thanks for joining us.
Well, good to be with you. Are you able to hear me right now?
I can hear you fine. We can hear you fine.
That's a minor miracle, so that's great.
Well, look,
this is a new technology for me.
Listen, it's a major miracle that you can hear me and I can hear you on both ends, given our in-depth, deep knowledge of social media and what we're trying to do here tonight. Web streaming and, as long as I can hear your voice and I can see your mug too. So we've hit home runs on both fronts.
We're learning every day,
aren't we?
Yep.
Well, I'm not sure where to start, but let's look at the big picture. 6-2, 6 straight wins. We were all confident the guys could have made it 7 in a row, but with all due respect to Michigan, we wish them the very best. I read numbers upwards of 50, 55 players that were suffering through the virus this week, and it was pretty apparent. We thought it was a stretch anyway that this game would come off, given the fact they hadn't played in 3 weeks. But that aside, you've got to be so pleased and so proud of what this team was able to accomplish after an 0-2 start.
And no question about it. Excuse me. No question about it. And just going back to the Michigan thing, it's one more strange thing this year because it was a little bit like Illinois. They rotated quarterbacks because of injuries, illnesses, etc. So you really didn't know what to expect. And Michigan hadn't played in a couple weeks, so it was really an interesting game plan for us. But I think our guys were off to a great start. We had a really good day Monday and Tuesday, and then obviously got the news yesterday. But yeah, going back to the season, just really proud of our guys. It was a tough start to the season. and the guys just kept playing. I think most importantly, they just kept growing and improving as the season went on, and that's really good, and it's on every front, just every position. Hard to find somebody that wasn't getting better, and that's why we had a good season.
Well, I can tell your voice is wearing a little thin, given how long this season has been. Hopefully, Mary's standing by with some Robitussin or some cough syrup for you there. And if anytime you want us to take a break, you let me know, and we'll cut away. Okay?
She's probably going to give me a lecture about not wearing a hat on Saturday. That's coming, so can't win.
Well, you're just a creature of habit. What can I say? Yeah. Well, hopefully you got some water there anyway. You can. Well, maybe it isn't water. Oh yeah, that looks like water. That looks like water.
That's water.
Let's talk a little individual plaudits here, especially today. We'll work in reverse order, but Davion Nixon, I'm so pleased and proud that the rest of the Big Ten saw what we saw and deservedly honor him for a phenomenal season.
Yeah, no question. And I made the comment during the Illinois week that, you go back and watch him play last year. Just the growth and improvement that he's made in a year's time. Absolutely phenomenal, and he's really played at a high level, very disruptive, has a great energy on the field, and it really impacts our entire defensive football team. So, and he, played his best game of the season, I think, on Saturday against Wisconsin.
He and Chauncey each had 5.5 5.5 sacks. Were right near at the top of the league with those numbers. Davion led the conference in tackles for loss. He was so much more, really they both were so much more, Kirk, than just run stuffers, weren't they?
Yeah, no question. And, when those guys can be disruptive with pass protection, that's a really good thing. And our team collectively played a really good defense. Part of that is good coverage, but pressure up front really makes the ball come out quicker. And it's not always about the sacks or even the hits, but just making a quarterback not be comfortable, and you can affect him that way. And both those guys really did a good job this year of that.
Zach Van Valkenburg, we don't want to leave him out, or Jack Heflin, or that rotation of 7 or 8 guys that all contributed. And we've talked about this maybe at midseason, but it wasn't that long ago we saw A.J. Epinesa and Brady Reef and Cedric Lattimore, and I'm probably leaving a guy or two out there, but every year it seems like Kelvin Bell and certainly able assistance of Jay Neiman. I don't know what the magic potion is there, but those coaches have done a phenomenal job with these young guys, whether they're veterans, mainstays, or rookies.
They really have. Kelvin and Jay have both done a great job with those guys. And coming into the season, to your point, you graduate, lose. AJ was an underclassman. That you lose some guys that played at a really high level. You're not quite sure where that production is going to come from. And obviously, Chauncey continued to play well and elevated his play this year. Davion, the same thing. And then Zach Van Valkenburg played a whole new player, just really confident, looked a lot more self-assured, and he played really aggressively for us all season long.
Zach Van Valkenburg was a second-team selection. Nick Neiman and Jack Kerner were on the third team. I thought Nick should have been hired, but it's easy to say that this was such a great year for linebackers in the league. Kirk, when you look at the names ahead of him, Patty Fisher, Pete Werner, Derek Barnes, Fadakasi from Rutgers, Blake Gallagher, Northwestern. This was just a knockout year for linebackers in the Big Ten.
Really was a lot of experienced players. You think about the guys from Northwestern. Seems like they've been there a long time. They have. And they played really well. They're an outstanding defensive team. Those three backers were a big part of that. But it's like every year in our league. There are a lot of good, talented players at all positions, and this year was no exception to that rule.
And hats off to Dane Belton and Riley Moss, too, for honorable mention. Offensively, Tyler Goodson and Alaric Jackson, unanimous first-team selections. That's got to make you smile. I mean, what a year Tyler had. And Alaric, was nicked up last year with that knee, really came on strong week to week.
Yeah, it was good to see him be able to play, start to finish. And, he played like a veteran player, and did a really great job out there. And then Tyler is the other end of the spectrum, a younger guy, second-year player, but same thing. He plays like a veteran and really brings a really good energy to our football team on the offensive side.
I'm not going to belabor the Tyler Linderbaum discussion. I watched your press conference yesterday, and I thought you were spot on. These things are so subjective. I will point out that the media had Tyler, the number one center in the Big Ten, so they saw what I saw all year. Cole Banward, I'm so happy for Cole because he's had an injury-filled career. But those were the top four on the first and second team, and then a bunch of guys, honorable mention, Mekhi Sargent, Amir Smith-Marset, and then linemen, Cody Ince, Kyler Schott. It's not, therefore, not a small surprise that, which makes you so pleased that your offensive line. We gave plaudits to Coach Pulisic shortly ago before you joined us, but the offensive line is a finalist for the Joe Moore Award. That warms your heart, I know.
It really does. Tim has done a great job with those guys. Dylan Chimura is his GA, and same thing, really nice job. All those guys you mentioned really play well, and yeah, I'd give special recognition to Cole because Cole he's had to fight through a lot of injuries during his time here, and that's the most frustrating thing a player goes through. So great to see him stay healthy all year long, and he played it really at a high level for us, and so just happy. And then what can you say about Tyler? Tyler's just an exceptional football player and a great leader on our team.
So everybody in Algona and Odison stand up and take a bow on behalf of Cole Banwart and, of course, Tyler from just out the road in Solon. Kirk, on Facebook here, we have Trent checking in. Congrats to Davion. Lots of folks getting much-deserved props on the offense and defense this week. I predict tomorrow that Torrey and Keith get first team and Charlie gets second team. Yeah, we haven't talked about special teams. Those honors will be forthcoming tomorrow. And boy, I can't disagree with Trent there. Torrey and Keith have had a knockout year when called upon, regardless of what toe we needed on the field. Charlie Jones, of course, for a first-year punt returner, never having played the game at this level. Man, his decision-making, despite what happened last week, his decision-making was terrific all season, Kirk.
Yeah, he's a great story, and it's interesting. You have two newcomers, and then, Keith Duncan has been here, a veteran player that's had a great career. So, yeah, I think confident all three will be recognized, and whether it's Keith, the veteran guy, and then Charlie and, Torrey, great additions to our team. They really impacted our season. You think about Charlie with those punt returns in the Michigan State game, and then continue to do a great job. And Torrey punted really well. But yeah, I agree that kick, I guess you would call it, on Saturday might be the most amazing thing he did all year. I'm still trying to figure out how that happened.
Kirk, we'll let you take a sip of water and rest the voice for a couple minutes. We'll take a break, come back with more Hawk Talk with the head coach, our final regular season show. Of course, the bowl bids are out on Sunday. Lots to talk about after that. Lots to talk about yet tonight. We will spend the final 45 minutes of the program tonight talking about the recruits and anything you'd like to talk about, whether it be on Facebook, Twitter. Thanks to, again, KCRG 9.2 for televising our weekly shows all season long, and the YouTube channel, HawkeyeSports.com, YouTube.com/Hawkeye Radio Network. We got so many social media sites here to plug. Look at this. It's an entire page full of them, and we're happy to do it. Facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks, on Twitter @Gary Dolphin, or by using the hashtag Hawk Talk on social media. Okay, and we'll continue to roll those out. We're brought to you by our presenting sponsor tonight, View Rooftop. We look forward to seeing all of our great Hawkeye supporters and fans and friends next season for Hawk Talk at View Rooftop in the Hilton Garden Inn. But until then, stop by on football Saturdays to View Rooftop for a new experience unique to Iowa City. Stop by this basketball Saturday when the Hawks take on #1 Gonzaga out at the Pentagon in Sioux Falls. Bobby and I will have the broadcast for you at 10 o'clock pregame, 11 o'clock tip-off here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. But at View Rooftop, you can immerse yourself in an invigorating environment with comfortable contemporary indoor and outdoor seating. High-definition televisions, Ferentz for watching the game and the live music. Enjoy the camaraderie and celebrate with a toast at View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn in Iowa City. Call for reservations. The number is area code 319-519-4650. 319-519-4650. More Hawk Talk with the head coach of the Hawkeyes, Kirk Ferentz, right after this.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now here. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com/delivery.
Give me 2 mangoes.
Coming at you. It's a little short. Ow. Sorry. You know what? I'm just going to walk them over to you.
Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, and Bud Light Seltzer. IRC Beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
University of Iowa Healthcare urges you to follow the 3 W's to stop the spread of COVID-19. Wear a mask, watch your distance, and wash your hands often. More tips at uihc.org. University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you. For flu-like symptoms, call our 24-hour COVID-19 hotline at 319-384-9010 before seeing a provider.
MidAmerican Energy and you, together partnering to change the energy landscape by pioneering money-saving, energy efficiency programs and building a new industry in Iowa, wind energy, all while keeping your rates low. So what's next? We'll keep delivering cost-effective energy efficiency programs while putting money back in your pocket. That's right. You decide how best to spend your savings. That's a partnership good for you, good for the environment, and good for Iowa. Another way we're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
It's been a long day. Your schedule's tight. Can we just take care of dinner for you? Quick Start has take-home meals, not cheap flash frozen stuff. Made from scratch, fresh, never frozen. Great quality because we make it ourselves. Grab a meal now to heat and eat later. Great kitchen cravings meals like fettuccine Alfredo with grilled chicken, meatloaf with mashed potatoes and gravy, roast turkey with dressing and mashed potatoes. I feel a meal, a great family meal coming on that you didn't even have to cook. Quick Start, we got you covered.
Hi, I'm Gary Dolphin, and if you want your home to be exceptionally comfortable during these cold Iowa winters and hot, humid summers, you need to turn to Dave Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Lennox has been serving Iowa consumers since 1895, when Dave Lennox built his first furnace in Marshalltown, and Lennox is still building its high-efficiency furnaces and air conditioners there today. For the best home comfort system you can buy, it's Lennox and your local Lennox dealer. Lennox and the Hawkeyes. Now there's a winning combination.
Now order your groceries online and get them even faster with Hy-Vee Aisles Online same-day pickup. Just choose the Get It Faster option for only $9.95 and pick up your groceries in as little as 2 hours. Plus, we've added even more pickup times to choose from. You'll find the same great deals as in-store. Free pickup on orders over $30 and no-contact pickup and delivery. Download the Hy-Vee Grocery app today and pick up groceries in as little as 2 hours. Some restrictions apply.
Gary Dolphin back with you. I'm from Kinnick Stadium. Kirk Ferentz is comfortable in his home tonight as we bring you our final Hawk Talk program of the regular season with the head coach of the Hawkeyes. Danny on Facebook says, Mary, quick, get Kirk a lozenge.
I just sort of threw it in, so I'm all set.
Okay, she was thinking of you, Kirk.
No, my Mary wasn't. I can tell you that.
She's knitting something for Christmas for the grandkids, right?
There you go.
You and Tom Davis. Tom Davis, one of my all-time favorite people, certainly one of my all-time favorite coaches, as you know, just a class act. We'd get to about game 23 or 4 of a 30-game season, and he would just have these coughing jags and fits for the final 2 weeks of the Big Ten season and then into the postseason. Sometimes it was worse. And you guys do a lot of talking, scheming, and yelling in practice over several months' time, don't you?
We do. And, the stuff normally kind of hits right after the season's over. Typically, it's after we get back from the bowl, but I guess my system must have known that the game got canceled yesterday. So, got a little bit of a hack this morning, but doing fine. We'll be okay.
Okay. Well, and it's certainly allowable. They know we're live, Kirk. Let's put it that way. On Twitter, at Gary Dolphin, A. Sellers. I don't know if that's a first initial and last name Sellers, but what is the injury status, coach, of Amir Smith-Marset and offensive lineman Coy Cronk? Well, Coy, I think, has been available. He was nicked up, and then you were rotating a lot of guys at that right tackle spot. But then we have a question down the line here from Eric, an update on Ivory Kelly-Martin. He feels terrible. I saw a report on Ivory Kelly-Martin suffering an injury in practice. Can you give us any details on what happened and what type of injury? And I know you're somewhat protective about the injury itself, but what can you tell us?
Yeah, it was a non-contact injury, and it's going to require surgery, so it's disappointing. Ivory's had some tough setbacks as well. Dealt with them like a champ, and he was really doing a great job. Tyler and Mackay have been the 1-2 punch, but Mackay and Ivory have been playing great, not good, really well on special teams. So it's a big loss for us, and most important, you just feel badly for him. As far as Coy goes, Coy had a very serious injury a year ago, and I think the way this past year has gone has probably affected him more than anybody, because people sometimes don't realize just how important the rehab process is, consistency in that, working with the same people. And, because of the COVID situation, he really didn't have that opportunity. So he got off to a good start and then just had some issues, and he's gotten better by the week. So hopefully in this last game he'll be able to play. And then Amir, fortunately it's a sprain, but sometimes sprains can be worse than other injuries. So it's probably going to be a while before he can actually start playing football again.
Coach Ferentz is brought to you tonight by our wonderful sponsors. I want to take a moment just to thank all of our sponsors for their support of Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz all season long. I won't mention them by name, but you are hearing their commercials on the air, and we would hope that you would support them throughout the season. And for you podcast fans, we're up over 17,000 followers now on the Fight for Iowa podcast that I host each week. Search your favorite podcast platform and subscribe to the official podcast of the Iowa Hawkeyes. The Fight for Iowa podcast presented by the Iowa Lottery. The podcast is also available on HawkeyeSports.com. And much of what Kirk is talking about tonight, from recruiting to the all Big Ten announcements of the last couple days to a recap of the season with the victory over Wisconsin Saturday. We'll chop up that interview tonight and tomorrow morning and run a lot of what Kirk had to say on our podcast this week, along with Gary Barta's comments about what a wonderful season it has been for Iowa football. Kirk, back to Facebook. Chuck wants to know, what are the chances of Iowa playing Iowa State in a bowl game? Well, I guess you don't rule anything out, but I wouldn't look for that. But the Cyclones have had a great year like Iowa, and hey, we didn't get to play the Cyclones this year. What do you think, Kirk?
I literally have no idea. Like most years, just no. Two things in play. You don't know how things are going to go on Saturday. That's one issue, and then just like this weekend, you don't know who's going to have to pull out in the next couple of weeks. So way too early. We would be speculating at the best. And then the other part that's really interesting, it's going to be December 19th on Saturday. So it's a quick turnaround for these games. Like it's really more like a bye week, and then you play. And one of our bowls that's available would actually have us playing a week from Saturday. So, you talk about a quick turnaround. It's really what we're looking at.
You've had some conversations about, let's say one of those bowls is a week from Saturday, about treating it like a normal road game, correct? We'd jet off to wherever the day before, treat it like a regular road trip with all the COVID protocol, play the game, get back on the plane, come home.
Yeah, I think a little bit like our trip to New York. Probably at the most, what we would do is, practice. Practice the day before the game, our Friday practice, and possibly travel the day before, or practice here and then just travel to the site. But yeah, there won't be any trips to Disneyland or Busch Gardens this year, unfortunately, and no team functions, just because of the world we've been living in here the last 8 months, 9 months.
Yeah, indeed. Fortunate to get 8 games in, and hopefully that 9th game will be a bowl game. We'll give Kirk a break here and come back and have more on our Hawk Talk program tonight from Iowa City. In just a minute, we're brought to you by Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch. Whenever there's a Hawkeye game to watch, there's a Bud Light nearby. And we thank our friends at Iowa Corn, Iowa's corn farmers and the Iowa Corn Growers Association, as well as the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. Thank you for supporting our local farmers. It's no secret it's been a tough year for everybody, but your support has not gone unnoticed. Every time you've chosen to fuel up with cleaner burning fuels, like E15 or unleaded 88, you make a difference for a corn farmer. It may seem like a small gesture, but it makes a difference to our state and shows we are stronger together. Iowa Corn. And we're back with more Hawk Talk with the head coach of the Hawkeyes right after this.
This isn't a grilled cheese I'm making. It's a melty masterpiece that deserves a kitchen worthy of greatness.
Looks like my porch is full of packages again. It also looks like my compulsive buying needs to change to compulsive saving.
As I sit here on this couch, I decided to make some changes, starting with this couch.
I'd love to be looking out my window at a beautiful backyard instead of a brick wall. Time for a new house.
Whatever your passion, U.S. Bank can help turn it into your next pursuit. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Like any winning team, it takes every part of EMC insurance companies working together to successfully ensure that our agents, policyholders, and employees can count on EMC. And they do. They count on our broad range of insurance products and services. They count on our superior level of personalized service, and they trust that we will continue to be a financially stable partner, just like we have been for more than 100 years. All of this makes EMC one of the nation's premier insurance companies, and that's something you can always count on.
Staying connected means games can still feel like this, even if they actually sound like this. That's why U.S. Cellular is building a 5G network that works from outside to inside uninterrupted, so you can stay connected even if you aren't at the game. Right now, get unlimited data for just $30 a month. Check out uscellular.com for more info. U.S. Cellular. Upgrade to fair. Data may be temporarily slower than other traffic and times of congestion. Video streams at up to 480p DVD quality. Credit approval and autopay paperless billing required. Additional terms apply.
Mid-American Energy and you, together partnering to change the energy landscape by pioneering money-saving, energy efficiency programs and building a new industry in Iowa, wind energy, all while keeping your rates low. So what's next? We'll keep delivering cost-effective energy efficiency programs while putting money back in your pocket. That's right. You decide how best to spend your savings. That's a partnership good for you, good for the environment, and good for Iowa. Another way we're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Hello, my name is Lance Lillibridge. I am an Iowa corn farmer. During this harvest season, you will find me sitting in the combine and also sitting in the stands cheering on local sports teams. Supporting my community is important to me, and you can do the same to support Iowa farmers by choosing E15 or unleaded 88 when fueling up at the pump, purchasing corn-fed meat at the grocery store, and filling up your water bottle with safe drinking water from the tap. I believe Iowans are truly stronger together. Go to iowacorn.org to learn more about how you can support Iowa farmers.
Experience the benefit of blue with a Medicare supplement plan from Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield. With our plans, you'll enjoy nationwide access to care, optional dental, vision, and hearing coverage, and more. Call 1-888-616-8927 or go online to wellmark.com/Medicare plans. You may even qualify for a special household discount. This is the benefit of blue. Wellmark Blue Dental product available to Iowa residents only. Must reside in the service area of the plan. Wellmark Medicare supplement insurance plans are not connected with or endorsed by any government agency.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk with head football coach Kirk Ferentz, presented by View Rooftop. Hawkeyes conclude a 6-2 season, 6 wins in a row, with a convincing victory over Wisconsin, at least a convincing second half the other day, as Iowa, with a 6-0 lead at the break, win it 28-7. A couple touchdown grabs by Amir Smith-Marset from Spencer Petras in that second half. And Kirk, before we get to the recruiting class that we'll spend most of the last half hour of the program on, let's talk about that win over Wisconsin. That ended a 4-game losing streak to the Badgers, and equally important, regained possession of the old Heartland Bowl, the trophy. Now, that trophy case is pretty full. It's great to see over there at the Hanson Performance Center.
It was great to walk in on Sunday morning and see all 4 of them, all 4 trophies on full display. So outstanding, and just really proud of our guys. They really played a great game.
You stayed consistent, not unlike Nebraska, with this 3-4 defense. Brian, the offensive staff, stayed with the run game, and if you just show run or have a couple successful plays, that makes Spencer so much more lethal in the passing game.
Yeah, there are certain things that are consistent. It seems like over the decades, and when you think about Wisconsin, really since Barry went up there in 1990, once they got it going. You can expect to see a really tough, tenacious defensive football team, and that's been the case basically the last 22 years. So there's nothing easy. Every yard is contested, and I found it a little bit entertaining. I guess there was some angst about Spencer's playing the first half. How quickly everybody forgets that we were playing. I think they were ranked the top defense in the country coming in. So you're not just going to go knock bowling pins over when you play a team like that. It doesn't work that way. And I thought our guys really did a great job of just kept on playing. And then in the second half, we were able to get some things really going. But there's a feeling out period in a game like that, especially when you have two outstanding defenses going against each other.
Spencer in the 6-game winning streak, Coach, threw for over 1,000 yards, almost 1,100 yards, completed nearly 60% of his passes, averaged about 185 yards passing with 8 touchdowns and 2 interceptions during that 6-game stretch. So, yeah, he may have had a bad series here and a bad stretch in the first or second quarter. You got to look at the whole body of work. And I thought for a first-year starter, thrown 10 career passes, no spring ball, very little with his teammates in the summer and a shortened fall camp. I thought he was spectacular at times and growing the other.
Ultimately, in my mind, quarterbacks get graded by how they lead their team and how productive they are in terms of winning games, and that's I think Spencer did a great job. It wasn't perfect all the time. I can't think of anybody who has had perfect games. And we've had some pretty good quarterbacks here, but when you play Wisconsin, they're going to make it tough on you. They just are an outstanding defensive team and have been so for some time. So I thought Spencer did a great job Saturday. And I think probably the most impressive thing the last 2 weeks in my mind, again, we weren't just knocking bowling pins over in the first half of either game. But once we got going, I thought he really played well. Go back to the Illinois game, couldn't have gone off to a worse start. He just kept playing, kept leading, and next thing you know, our team was following his lead.
We were showing some video of Spencer a lot to Amir Smith. He had 2 receiving touchdowns in that third period, the 19th and 20th of his career. 167 all-purpose yards, 140 receiving, the most since Marvin McNutt. For 151 a few years ago. And what gets lost sometimes, Kirk, is Amir's value from an all-purpose fashion. I mean, whether it's returning kicks, running short routes, or deep routes, this guy's been a big asset for your offense.
Then the jet sweeps as well.
Yeah.
So he's just a dangerous performer, likes playing, very explosive. And, again, when you have 2 really good defensive teams playing like we did the other day, both teams really do a good job of minimizing big plays. And for us to come up with some of those, Spencer to Amir, those kinds of things really help when you're playing a defense that's as stout as Wisconsin's is. And then Tyler had, finished it off with that long run. So, the value of those big plays and the value of defending those will never change.
Tyler's 80-yard touchdown run that you speak of was the longest by a Big Ten player this season and the longest by a Hawkeye since Tavian Banks galloped 82 back in 1997. What a year for the young sophomore from Georgia.
Yeah, I didn't know that stat, but it looked pretty good when he popped out of there. It was, the tight game. You can't feel comfortable. And then when we pushed it to 21-point lead, with not much time left, you finally felt like, okay, we're taking control of this game. But, it was a big spark play. We intentionally ran into a blitz, great execution up front, and then, Tyler knows how to finish plays, that's for sure. So he's had a great season, really great season.
He sure does. Thanks to KCRG 9.2 for providing our video all season long. Defensively, Coach, we talked about Davion Nixon. He was spectacular. Again, the defense as a whole was solid. Chauncey Golston concluding a terrific career. He had a career-high 9 tackles. He's been there at every corner all season long, hasn't he?
Really has, and he's so representative of the kind of players that we love working with. He was not the highest recruit out of his school his senior year. That would have been Cedric, and Cedric had a great career here too. But Chauncey has just done an unbelievable job and played really well last year, but is playing at another level, and that's what you hope experienced players are going to do. So, delightful young guy, great attitude. I would describe him as a quiet leader, but everybody respects him. They follow his lead. And he's really had a very positive impact on our defensive team and our entire football team.
Strong safety Dane Belton tied his career high with 6 tackles. And then, it took a couple weeks for Jack Campbell to get on the field, given that illness he had. But, man, oh, man, he has excelled since those cleats got buried in the turf in Week 3 and his fourth quarter interception in the end zone. His first career interception is a lifelong memory, Laster.
Yeah, you talk about big plays. That's one the other way, right? Where, it's somehow, some way they end up with the ball right there inside our 5, knocking on the door. And he made a great play on that because he, took the cheese a little bit on the fake, but then he reacted quickly. He was aware of what was going on. And, boy, he just, like he shot out a cannon. So, great play on his part. And, again, that little sequence in there was huge, because it was looking a little sticky.
So Floyd of Rosedale, of course, the Cy-Hawk Trophy didn't go anywhere this year because the Hawks were unable to play the Iowa State Cyclones, and then, of course, the Heroes Trophy with Nebraska, and now the Heartland Bowl. Safely tucked away in the Hanson Performance Center for the next year and hopefully for a long time. All right, when we come back, we're going to spend the rest of the program talking the Hawkeye recruits that were signed today, a class of 17, at least for now. We'll mention who the committed walk-ons are, too, because there's usually 2 or 3 of those that ultimately earn a scholarship from the head coach of the Hawkeyes. We'll get Kirk's thoughts on today's signings that have Iowa in the top 25 nationally with this future generation of Iowa Hawkeye football player. Back with more Hawk Talk, presented by View Rooftop in just a minute.
Now order your groceries online and get them even faster with Hy-Vee Aisles Online same-day pickup. Just choose the Get It Faster option for only $9.95 and pick up your groceries in as little as 2 hours. Plus, we've added even more pickup times to choose from. You'll find the same great deals as in-store. Free pickup on orders over $30 and no-contact pickup and delivery. Download the Hy-Vee Grocery app today and pick up groceries in as little as 2 hours. Some restrictions apply.
Hawk fans, this is Ed Podolak. Whether I'm relaxing on Flamingo Beach in Costa Rica or fishing north on the Boundary Waters, one Iowa product I'll always bring is my Grizzly Cooler. Grizzly Coolers are made in Decorah and are perfect for your next fishing trip, the big hunt, or tailgate. The Grizzly lineup offers the perfect balance of durability and performance that is expected in a made-in-the-USA premium cooler. And you can even order Hawkeye Grizzly Coolers and drinkware. Order yours now at grizzlycoolers.com.
Tomorrow. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, as we have for over 100 years. So you can look forward to it too. Through growth and innovation, we are planning ahead, so you can enjoy life without looking back. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Auto, home, farm, and business insurance. Talk to an agent today or visit GrinnellMutual.com. Trust in Tomorrow is a registered trademark of Grinnell Mutual Reinsurance Company.
What does greatness look like? It's one of those things, while not always obvious, everyone understands. It's your 4th grade teacher who always listened to you. The lady at your coffee shop who asks about your Jack Russell every visit. Your neighbor who's right there for you with good advice on just about everything. Greatness is sometimes the smallest act of kindness with the largest impact. At Great Southern Bank, we understand what makes our community great are the people. Great Southern Bank, understanding what really matters. Member FDIC.
Iowa's medical cannabis program has new products available to you now. Due to the removal of the 3% THC limit, THC vapes with and without terpenes are now available at dispensaries across Iowa. Medical cards are available to Iowans with chronic pain, PTSD, and many other approved conditions. Fight pain in a new way. Getting your medical cannabis card here in Iowa is easy. Just talk to your doctor and join thousands of Iowans using medical cannabis today. Google Iowa Medical Cannabis, CANNABIS. Feel better, live better with Iowa Medical Cannabis.
Hi, I'm Gary Dolphin, and if you want your home to be exceptionally comfortable during these cold Iowa winters and hot, humid summers, you need to turn to Dave Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Lennox has been serving Iowa consumers since 1895, when Dave Lennox built his first furnace in Marshalltown, and Lennox is still building its high-efficiency furnaces and air conditioners there today. For the best home comfort system you can buy, it's Lennox and your local Lennox dealer. Lennox and the Hawkeyes. Now there's a winning combination. Rolling through Hawk Talk with Iowa football coach Kirk Ferentz. We're brought to you tonight by Iowa Corn. While the Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk Series is on hold for this season, Iowa's corn farmers will continue to stand behind this unique series and everything it stands for, because here in Iowa, we grow corn. But the truth is, corn grows Iowa. And Coach Ferentz and the Hawkeye coaching staff have grown their latest recruiting class. Kirk, I've seen it ranked as high as 22nd nationally and 6th in the Big Ten. I know you're not into rankings, but how do you feel overall about the class? You signed 9 young men from Iowa, 3 from Illinois, and 1 each from Kansas, Minnesota, Missouri, Nebraska, and Ohio, with perhaps a couple more to come. But you stuck to that good work ethic of the Midwest for the most part.
Really did, and I think the virus probably contributed to that a little bit. But easier access for recruits to have a chance to be here prior to the shutdown in March. So I think that factored in. But we feel really good about the group, and 17 guys that we think are just really fit what it is we're looking for in football players, prospects at all positions, and most importantly, just like their attitudes. The way they've gone about this whole thing, and said that it's been really unusual. Think about our first-year guys from last year showed up here in June and basically weren't allowed. They could train, but they weren't in class and really couldn't do much socially. So they were kind of stuck in the dorm, and we all know this whole year has been just literally crazy. So can't say enough about the way they've handled some really unusual and extreme circumstances, and really been impressed with them over the last 5-6 months. And then, we feel great about this group too. They, in some strange way, I think we all feel like we know these prospects a little bit more because we weren't in spring practice back in March, April, and we weren't on the road in May. So in some strange way, we probably get to know everybody a little bit better via Zoom, via FaceTime, all that stuff. And really getting to know the prospects, their parents, the coaches a little bit more extensively. And, so as a result of that, really feel like we've known these guys a long time and feel really good about, what they're going to add to our program.
How about let's start with the offensive line because Iowa's known for developing the great offensive linemen. You signed 4, if I have that right. 4 young offensive linemen. And I remember meeting Connor Colby when he was here visiting your camp as a sophomore or junior with his dad one spring practice. I was impressed with him then. I'm impressed with him now. He's a 4-star, highly rated out of Cedar Rapids, Kennedy. Davidkoff was the number 1 player out of the state of Illinois. David Davidkoff, Jennings Dunker, a young man from Illinois, and Bo Stevens, highly regarded recruit out of Missouri. That's a pretty good-looking foursome there, Coach.
Really is, and excuse me, we weren't able to have camps this past year, but all those guys were in camp a year ago, so going into their junior years, and we walked away really impressed with all 4 of those guys, so we really are thrilled that they chose to come here, and really looking forward to working with them in the future here.
I like your linebackers too, Coach. In fact, you were almost giggling last Wednesday night before we went on the air. You had just offered, and Carson Sherrar from Iowa Falls accepted. You really are excited about that young man. But Jaden Harrell, terrific player. Justice Sullivan, son of a former Iowa State star basketball player, and Zach Twett, certainly a football name we're familiar with.
Absolutely. So Carson's the guy we were looking at. He's probably more accomplished in basketball until this year. But we really were impressed with him as an athlete, as a person. And then he had a really good senior year. So you don't have as much of that as we used to, actually evaluating guys during senior years.
Yeah.
But we really liked what we saw. And we were thrilled he's decided to come here and join us. And then Justice Sullivan might be as interesting of a recruit. His story is probably as interesting to anybody in this class. When you talk to him, you feel like you're talking to a 40-year-old guy. He just, he's got a perspective and a vantage point His mom and brother are still in Ghana, and so I think he has a little different perspective and a little different appreciation for opportunity maybe than the typical guy coming out of high school.
I'll tell you what, his dad, who I know, Jake, was just a bulldog on the basketball floor and very successful in running his basketball teams and camps. Coach, which is typical, you brought in, you tried to bring in at least one quarterback per class. Tell us about Joey Labus out of Ohio, who's having a knockout year. He verbaled Ball State, and then when the Hawks offered, he was only too quick to accept.
You know, and Ken works pretty methodically. He does the evaluations on the quarterbacks, and he's a guy that makes that choice, and he's very deliberate with his evaluation process. You know, the more we learned about Joe, the more impressed we were, and really glad that he committed to us. I think it's interesting, you know, Ball State's in the championship game this week, so I'm hoping, I think they've got a pretty good eye for talent, and I think we probably saw that the same way. And then, you know, as you would expect, you know, Joe had his best year as a high school player this year. So, you know, we're really excited about him and look forward to him joining the group of quarterbacks that we have.
Yeah, he's got to have somebody to throw it to, and I'm as excited about your wide receiver group. Not a big group. You brought in 3 guys, but, boy, they're all quality.
They really are. You know, we feel really good about them. Obviously, Brody Breck's a guy we know a lot about being in state. Likewise, came to camp a couple of years ago, really impressed us. He's got good size, excellent speed, multi-sport athlete, very accomplished baseball player. And then last January, I was down in Kansas City, and, you know, Arlen had just won the Simone Award, which goes to the best football player in the metro area there. And I used to recruit in Kansas City in the 80s. That's a very prestigious award, and juniors don't often win it. So he's just a really impressive young man, impressive family, high motor and all that. And then Keegan Johnson, we think, is a really great prospect from Bellevue, Nebraska. And his dad played on some great teams over in Nebraska. We're thrilled to get Keegan on campus. He'll be here in January.
Keegan, you might want to hire him when his eligibility's up. He's a pretty good recruiter. I've seen him on social media. I mean, they all interact after they verbally commit to the Hawkeyes. You've got some bravado in this class, Kirk. You've got some talkers.
Yeah, we do, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, as long as they're workers and they're positive talkers, you know, and I think they all are. So, yeah, I think they're really they've already formed a nice, you know, camaraderie amongst each other, and that's one of the advantages of this social media. So, you know, there have been some good things that come out of it, and you're right. A lot of times, you know, our players do a great job recruiting for us, but prospects working on each other too. That's really a key thing in the recruiting process.
When we come back, we'll talk about the defensive line and defensive back recruits next on Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz, brought to you by View Rooftop in the Hilton Garden Inn.
Hidden phone trade-ins, hidden plan requirements, hidden catches. You won't find them at US Cellular because we speak fair. Plus, when you switch right now, you can get $500 off the latest phones. That's right, $500 off the latest phones with no hidden requirements, no hidden plan requirements, no hidden phone trade-ins, and no hidden... You get the idea. Upgrade to fair. Upgrade to US Cellular. Requires new postpaid service plan, new line port in, credit approval, qualified smartphone purchase, and comes via monthly bill credit on a 30-month RIC. Taxes, fees, and additional terms apply.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now, hip. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com/delivery.
Give me 2 mangoes.
Coming at you. It's a little short. Ow. Sorry. You know what? I'm just going to walk them over to you.
Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, and Bud Light Seltzer, IRC Beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
Experience the benefit of blue with a Medicare supplement plan from Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield. With our plans, you'll enjoy nationwide access to care, optional dental, vision, and hearing coverage, and more. Call 1-888-616-8927 or go online to wellmark.com/Medicare plans. You may even qualify for a special household discount. This is the benefit of blue. Wellmark Blue Dental product available to Iowa residents only. Must reside in the service area of the plan. Wellmark Medicare supplement insurance plans are not connected with or endorsed by any government agency.
University of Iowa Healthcare urges you to follow the 3 W's to stop the spread of COVID-19. Wear a mask, watch your distance, and wash your hands often. More tips at uihc.org. University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you. For flu-like symptoms, call our 24-hour COVID-19 hotline at 319-384-9010 before seeing a provider.
The wait for the holidays is over, America. It's time to make some joy. And we're here to help with the Ford Built for the Holidays sales event. We're offering the best deals of the season across the Ford lineup, so you can road trip with the whole family comfortably in a Ford Expedition. Bring home a tree that's bigger than you ever have with a built Ford Tough F-150. And find new ways to make the holidays bright this year when you visit your local Ford dealer. The joy is up to you, America, so let's get to it. Ford, built for the holidays.
Gary Dolphin at Kinnick Stadium. Kirk Ferentz nestled in at home as Christmas approaches. Much to be thankful for, and want to wish this is our last Hawk Talk tonight. We want to wish all our great Hawkeye fans the very best. Very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year as 2020 is about to go into the rearview mirror. And Kirk, on that note, we lost a great Hawk down in Ottumwa recently. Longtime member and leader of the Southeast Iowa I Club. You and I have been down there over the years, and Don, they called him DT, Don Thompson,
yeah.
One of the great supporters of Hawkeye football, basketball, all sports, really. There was rarely a game that he missed.
Great Hawk, all-around Hawk, and first thing comes to mind, he's a doer. Like, you've heard of people to work at the I Club events, and when you got there, they treated you great. And everything was first class, but Don's a doer. He's quite an exceptional guy.
Yeah, doer is a great description. I always loved the picnic, the I Club picnic they would have on the tarmac of the old military airport down there, the Ottumwa Airport. Such a unique characteristic and a neat gathering, and they'd come from all over the county, about a 3 or 4 county area down there, hundreds upon hundreds back in the day and down through the years. So our thoughts and prayers are with the Don Thompson family tonight. Before we conclude our program and talk about the other recruits, I want to thank our Authentic Brand folks for being a sponsor all season long for Hawkeye football. Gear up for Iowa's next game, the bowl game, with Authentic Brand, a great Iowa company making Hawkeye apparel for men, women, and kids. It's the apparel that Eddie and I wear on game days. You can find it at local retailers or order online at authentic-brand.com. Authentic Brand, look authentic, feel authentic, be authentic. You certainly got authentic with all these Iowa kids, great Iowa high school players. Let's conclude with Cooper DeJean, one of my favorite names. And you've been raving about this young man for a couple of years, Coach. He's all everything out of Odebolt. And talk about maybe the longest the longest acronym that I've ever had the opportunity to read, from OABCIG. But he is all football, isn't he?
Yeah, you got to concentrate on an acronym. We were really impressed with him just as an athlete, great basketball player, and what a season he had. Just ridiculous numbers, and basically won the almost single-handedly won the championship for his team. Came from behind, and he played a big role of that. So he's just a great football player, and I think he's one of the kind of guys that we've had a lot of success with. Excited to have him join the class.
6'1", 205. Where do you project him, or have you yet?
Yeah, we see him being a safety, and just really excited to get him here and start working with him.
And that's defensive back, and now to the defensive line, where you've got four guys at least to this point. Let's start with Max Llewellyn, outstanding player out of Urbandale.
Yeah, first thing about Max, he just plays so hard. He just plays really hard. He's got a nose for the ball, so those are good traits for defensive players. I think he's got great growth potential. I think all 4 of the guys that we signed have good growth potential, but first and foremost, they can move. They're athletic, and that's where defense starts, is being able to move around.
Jeremiah Pittman is out of Palatine. Griffin Little from Bettendorf. We talked about Max, and who am I missing here? I'm missing one other. Jeff Bowie out in West Branch, right out the road.
Yep, exactly. So Pittman and Griffin will play inside. Again, just really good players. Griffin's a outstanding wrestler on top of it, so really like both those guys. And Sam's a really good prospect as well.
Kirk, as we got just a couple minutes left, committed walk-ons. I count 8 or 9 here. Let me just read the names off and congratulate them for casting their lot with the Hawkeyes. The Iowa kids, Alec Wick from Iowa City High, a wide receiver. Max White, a running back from Cedar Rapids Kennedy. Kelby Thielander, big linebacker from North Liberty. Jackson Rexroth from that outstanding program at Xavier in Cedar Rapids. And then from West Des Moines, Andrew Lynch, maybe one of the next great tight ends in Hawkeye history. Dennis Lamoris is from Glen Ellen, tight end fullback. Eli Miller, a linebacker from Colorado. Johnny Piskuski, out of Olathe, Kansas, and Luke Elkin from Neenah, Wisconsin. You found some outstanding players in Wisconsin the last few years. Looks like you found another one, a long snapper.
Yep, and we're very excited about him. He's very accomplished, and it's a very important job. You think about our team right now. I think about a guy like Keith Duncan, the veteran player, up for the Bullsworth Award. You think about a guy like Jack Kerner, Collar Shot. Just the roles that those guys played and how valuable they've been. We just awarded 3 scholarships last week to guys in our program that were walk-ons. So that's something we really deem to be very important. We recruit these guys very selectively. They're not just coming in for a cup of coffee. I mean, we recruit them just like we do the rest of the guys, and we really think they have a lot of upside and a chance to be successful. And, I think the one thing about it is they're going to get every opportunity. So hopefully there's some great stories in there just kind of waiting to unfold.
30 seconds. Iowa fans love their tight ends. Tell us about Lynch out of West Des Moines Dowling and Piskuzi. I'm going to have to work on that one. Piskuzi out of Olathe, Kansas.
Yeah, both good prospects, and we didn't sign a tight end, so they have great opportunity. And the biggest part about recruiting, I think, is you evaluate talent, but really you're trying to evaluate the personalities. And if they come in there and work hard, they're going to have every opportunity to be successful. So we're really excited about that group, excited about the 17 signees.
All right, Coach. Well, my glasses aren't working. I misread the clock here. We still got 30, 45 seconds. So what happens? You had 75% of the game plan in for Michigan. That game goes away. You got the bowl announcement on Sunday. What's your practice schedule look like for the next week?
So, last night we pulled the plug for our team. We just told them, rest, recharge here. Finish their finals. First time we've ever attempted to play during finals week. That was interesting. So just gives everybody a chance to get a break. And I think everybody needs that right now. And then, we'll find out Sunday what it looks like. And then we'll get the guys back to work. Monday they'll take their COVID test and then most likely start, some form of practice, training, et cetera, next Tuesday. And, it's all going to happen fast. So we're looking forward to this opportunity.
Thanks for your time. Thanks for giving it a go tonight with the throat and the voice. I've always enjoyed our regular weekly visits during the season in colds and healthy times. So appreciate your time, Coach, as always, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, you mentioned Tom Davis and Reese Morgan, same thing. He's always coughing and November on. But anyway, yes, I appreciate that. And I just want to wish everybody a great holiday season.
Coach Ferentz, enjoy the rest of the evening, Coach, and a few days off. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Gary.
Coach Ferentz, brought to you by View Rooftop in the Hilton Garden Inn. Stay tuned to your Hawkeye Radio Network affiliate for future programming in Iowa football, most notably where the Hawks will be bowling. We'll know that this weekend. Iowa Gonzaga Saturday morning. I'll talk to you then. Good night, everybody.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield IMG College, you've been listening to Hawk Talk, presented by View Rooftop Iowa City. Also brought to you by Bud Light. Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Ford, inviting you to visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. U.S. Bank, helping individuals and businesses work toward their financial goals. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. And by U.S.